And I'm in for 25 grand, and I'm not a strategic investor necessarily, but I think there's a lot of things that you can do to make this a special brand, and you've got a good foundation.
Sorry, I can't speak for my partner, but I think there's a chance that the Capitalism Fund may match Kurt's pledge. I would, not in a bazillion years would I have guessed that you were profiting $500,000 on that.
I don't think this is a $10 million business. I think this is much larger than that.
Plug to you, Ryan. This is the best group or training program I've ever been in. True business owners doing their thing, investors. It's not just people who throw money and think they're going to be rich. It's people that were doing the work, being taught the right way, and learning the process. It's been great.
But nowhere else do I know a place where there are relationships like we have at capitalism.com to be able to not just serve you guys, but serve your people as well. And that's what capitalism is about, is getting to exponentially be the change.
It's funny how you never give a second thought to doing whatever you want and enjoying the things you love until you can't. I'd like to introduce you to Kristen. By all accounts, she's lived the American dream life. Tight-knit family, great childhood, excelled in sports and school, and is currently helping children as her role in a career in school psychologist. All her life, Kristen knew she wanted to be a mom. And thankfully, that dream came true in 2011 and again in 2014 with two beautiful baby girls. She absolutely loves being a mother and works hard to maintain her active lifestyle and adventure seeking. She just has two new sidekicks in tow now is all. Little did she know, however, that things would take a turn for the worse. A couple months into her second pregnancy, her life changed in an instant. She was diagnosed with gestational diabetes. Like so many other things in her life, she put her mind to mastering this problem for the remainder of her pregnancy, since it was temporary. The frequent doctor visits, the finger pricks for blood sugar checks, the counting every single carbohydrate that passed her lips to ensure that her baby would be healthy was all consuming, but she managed, especially since it was temporary. Near the end of her pregnancy, though, her doctor came in and informed her that she did not have gestational diabetes. She was, in fact, a late onset type 1 diabetic. The diagnosis stopped Kristen in her tracks. This was not temporary. This was for life. In true Kristen fashion, she was determined she could handle this too. The insulin shots, the blood sugar checks, the meals that always equaled math problems seemed endless. And while extremely draining, she was going to live the life that she chose on her terms and continue her adventures while being the best mom she could be. And she made it work for quite a while, as long as she could, until the pain set in. At first, she attributed the pain to being on her feet most of the day, running around with the kids and standing most of the day, all while wearing heels. She stopped wearing heels, but it didn't stop. Then it set in earlier during the day, and it got worse. It didn't matter what shoes she wore or if she rested. She stopped exercising after the kids went to bed because it hurt too much. Still, the pain didn't stop. It was unbelievable pain from her nerves. The pain would hit suddenly, and not that dull, bearable pain that you can kind of deal with. It was icy driving needles that took her breath away. She'd try and shake it off to clear it, but the pain would still scream up and down her limbs, feeling like there was no end in sight. She was too tired and in too much pain to do the things she loved. She felt like she was failing at her life, failing her children, and failing her family. And you can be sure she wasn't even telling people the worst of it. This is sadly the story of far too many diabetics suffering from diabetic neuropathy. And I should also mention the Kristen in the story. She's my wife. Painful diabetic neuropathy is caused by chronically high blood sugars, and it's basically the sugars toasting your nerves like the fire toasting outside of a marshmallow when you make s'mores. But think for a moment what your life would be like if you were stabbed with pain in your hands and feet throughout the day without warning, or felt like you were holding your hands over a fire for an extended period of time. That's the life of a diabetic with neuropathy. The nerve pain is debilitating, and it holds you back from doing everything that you love in life. You'd give anything to feel like your old self again. And it isn't just the pain that's scary for people, but the fact that neuropathy also leads to a higher rate of lower limb amputation in diabetics. Diabetes is a major public health problem that is approaching epidemic proportions globally. According to the American Diabetes Association, there are currently more than 122 million people in the US alone diagnosed as having diabetes or prediabetes. That's 37% of the US population, and getting worse. The overall cost in America for this is estimated to be over $400 billion between direct and indirect costs. Healthcare costs for diabetics average 2.3 times the cost of traditional healthcare. Neuropathy is the most common complication of diabetes, with the CDC estimating that 50% or more of people with diabetes will develop neuropathy. When that's the case, their additional costs increase fourfold, and that's roughly $38,000 in additional healthcare costs for someone each year with neuropathy. All these numbers boil down to more than 50 million people that need our help, and translates into a total addressable market size for neuropathy between $3.5 and $5 billion, with many forecasts having that tipping over $7 billion by 2026. From a market opportunity perspective, capturing just 1% of that future pie translates into a $70+ million business. Now, doctors say there's no cure for neuropathy because there is no drug or surgery to cure it, but they themselves don't have a good answer for the problem. As such, pain drugs are the go-to for physicians, leading to big pharma being the most prominent player in the niche, and gabapentinoids being in the top 5 of prescribed drugs for pain in the United States. The problem is these drugs don't do anything to help fix the problem, and they don't even work for the majority of the people for whom they are prescribed. The Journal of American Medical Association published that gabapentin was effective in only 14 to 17% of patients taking it. And if they do work, the side effects are often so brutal that people would often rather deal with the pain. These snippets on the right here are just a few of the thousands of comments from the neuropathy community that would rather the pain than feeling like a zombie every day with suicidal thoughts from the drugs. And it's not that your doctor's holding out on you for the treatment, although some could be. It's that the breakthroughs coming from places like Johns Hopkins, Harvard, Mayo Clinic, they can take 10 to 20 years to hit the mainstream medicine. Our community doesn't have that kind of time to wait. We've lived this unfortunate reality ourselves, which is why we devoted ourselves to finding a healthy, natural solution. Today, I'm proud to introduce to you Nurvitalize, neuropathy support created by neuropathy sufferers. Nurvitalize has given my wife her life back and has also helped thousands of others in the process find relief from their diabetic nerve pain. Our flagship product is our Advanced Nerve Relief Formula. It is an all-natural nutritional supplement supporting neuropathy relief. Best of all, it doesn't have any of the big pharma side effects. The supplement market for neuropathy pain is extremely fragmented, with many small players, which provides ample opportunity for Nurvitalize to get our share of the pie. We focus on a premium product that covers all the base ingredients, but includes 2 key ingredients that nobody else in the market has in theirs, PEA and ashwagandha, which focus heavily on pain and stress relief and have over 1,100 scientific studies and counting between the 2 of them. It's a premium formula, which costs $7.25 to manufacture, with gross margins around 81% after the cost of product and fulfillment. And we sold 15,730 units in 2021, so we're confident in the market for our primary formula. 100% of our efforts so far have been in the direct-to-consumer space through our online store. But we do see other distribution channels to tap into the future, ranging from traditional brick and mortar retail to holistic clinics and chiropractic offices. Now, we're fully aware that while we do have key ingredients that set us apart from current competitors, people can come into the space with similar ingredients and try to undercut us on price to gain market share. But people don't want just another pill. What they really want is to live long, healthy, disability-free lives. And that's why our big idea is different from all the others. We're not just another pill. We are a complete platform. Our initial formulations for Nurvitalize supplements have been life-changing, yes, but that is just a piece of the puzzle. And that is where pretty much everyone else stops. The change begins at the ability to deliver value beyond treating the illness and start to facilitate the wellness. This is done through our full platform approach, focusing on education, wellness, community, and coaching. People need more than just a supplement. They need to be guided by the hand to achieve the success they're looking for. The current medical system is so overburdened, people are lucky to get 10 minutes with their doctor. I know mine's halfway out the door before he's halfway in the door. And then they just keep sending you away with a pocket full of prescriptions. We are here to fill that coaching and community gap with continuous guides and online courses and future live coaching options. The power of community to create health is far greater than any physician, clinic, or hospital, and we are here to provide that full service approach. Neither Big Pharma or any of the other supplement competitors are doing this kind of work. This is what will allow Nurvitalize to stand out in the fragmented crowd of other competitors, giving us the ability to not only continue attracting new customers, but retain them as well in our broader community. We deal with neuropathy firsthand in our household every single day, in our members of that tight-knit community. We feel our customers' pain, literally in Kristen's case. We regularly check in with our customers, and the feedback from the community has been wonderful. Beverly is a great example, and her story is nothing short of amazing. Her neuropathy was really bad, so bad that she was struggling to care for herself, never mind her husband, who was in and out of the hospital 19 times with cancer treatments, all during while she was trying to figure out what was wrong with her. She had to rely on her family and friends to do everything for her. Her doctors weren't much help. They offered to send her to a specialist, but that specialist had a 6-month-long waiting list, and she had nowhere to turn, felt hopeless. She was on the cusp of sending her husband to a nursing home and feared that she wasn't far behind when she found Nurvitalize's relief formula. About 4 weeks in, she was back to taking care of her home, driving, and being able to get around the yard again. She had her freedom back, and most importantly, could take care of her ailing husband. We actually just got another message from heartfelt email from Beverly about a month ago, thanking us so much again for giving her life back. Sadly, her husband had since succumbed to his cancer and passed away. But our products were able to give her another year with him on her terms. There are so many great stories we get from the community of Nurvitalize customers. We get comments on our social posts, and there are nearly 150 reviews on our site for customers that are finding life-changing impacts with our products. Our path forward here in Nurvitalize is a bright one, and it's just the beginning of us helping to serve the community who needs us. Our online course, Learning to Master Your Pain Experience, goes live at the end of this month, something no other competitor offers. In March, we publish our book on Amazon, Life Without Tingling and Pain, on how you can better live your life with neuropathy to continue to serve our community while simultaneously building credit in the marketplace. Expansion into channels beyond our Shopify store is next. We go live with Amazon in March, launch our chiropractic wholesale outreach program in April, and expand into Google and YouTube PPC in June. By year end, we'll be at a $2+ million run rate. 2023 is a year of continued growth. We've taken early surveys from our customers and found that there is a gap in the availability of truly diabetic-friendly snacks and protein bars in the market, and we will expand the product lines into that space the middle of next year. By the end of 2023, we'll be at a more than $4+ million run rate, with continued focus on building our brand to over $10 million quickly thereafter. And we recognize that none of this could happen without the people we have in place. Kristen and I are the founders and full equity holders in the business. Kristen has her certificate of advanced graduate studies in psychology and is a nationally certified school psychologist. Given her background and training, she's a key factor and contributor in understanding the medical studies and research papers for our formulation, and also will be a key factor in all our training courses going forward. I myself am a strategic finance leader in the private equity space, having worked as the vice president of finance for a large private equity fund for the last 11+ years, with my primary focus being on implementing systems for growth and supporting acquisition activity. We've also surrounded ourselves with other incredibly talented people to help us serve the 50 million+ people who need us. Dr. Nick Lucas is an advisor in our business. He was previously a professor in the neuroscience discipline at the University of Sydney and is currently running a successful coaching and speaking business. He's the creator of our upcoming pain course and will be a critical factor in launching our live coaching courses in the near future. North Node Solutions is running our Facebook advertising, managing several large clients in the health and supplement space as part of their roster. Amazon Sales is launching with Sunken Stone, a premier Amazon agency with 11+ years experience and over 3,600 SKUs under management. Past successes of theirs, including taking the wellness company Organifi from $40,000 per month on Amazon to over $40,000 a day. Manufacturing fulfillment are provided by Jetpack, an Ohio-based company that keeps all the necessary certifications and registrations to ensure that our customers have the best possible supplements delivered to them as quickly as possible, of course. Our customer service is handled by Infocus, a Utah-based company focused on providing telephone and email support to our customers, allowing us to scale customer service as we continue our growth. We are confident in our team and partners to take us to a $10 million plus valuation in the next 3 years. Today, we are presenting you the opportunity to help build the legacy and help the 50 plus million people who need Nurvitalize to succeed. We are seeking a strategic investor who has the connections and network to assist us in rapidly scaling and expanding distribution. And for this role, we are offering 8% equity in return for $100,000. The capital will be used in 3 main areas. 50% of the funding will go to accelerating our marketing and branding, building out the assets and creative to continue differentiating ourselves in the market, and building our community engagement. And we've already identified a vendor partner that will help with this. 30% will be used for expansion of acquisition channels, continuing to optimize our current advertising on Facebook, while accelerating our testing and scaling into new areas such as Amazon, Google, and native advertising. The last 20% will be used to create additional content for customized training for our customers to build out our library. This allows us to do 2 things: better serve our community overall with additional training, but also to build out a subscription-based training area to add to our core offerings. We also have 2 advisor seats open for those that can help advise in the areas such as copywriting and marketing and sales distribution to help with expansion into offline opportunities. Right now, as we are here talking today, people are getting diagnosed with diabetes and marching towards the unbearable pain that comes with diabetic neuropathy. These people and the 50 plus million others need us and can't be left behind. So if you love the idea of this legacy of saving limbs and lives, and you want the Beverleys of the world to be free, and you want to be known as the capitalists who build a legacy for the ages, then we are the right company to back today, because we are living the realities of neuropathy each and every day and know this better than anyone else. And we are doing this with or without a partnership. When you feel the time is right, I encourage you to get in touch and we can talk over how we can make it happen. Thank you again for the time today. And at this point, I'd invite you to ask any questions that you'd like to discuss now.
Well done, Adam.
Thank you. Hey, stop sharing, Stan, or do I keep sharing?
Please go ahead and stop.
All right.
Ryan, what questions would you have for Adam about this business and why?
Yeah,
we should invest
first of all, before we kind of go into our analysis here, I'd like to know what's your price point and your profit margin on your current product?
Price point for a single bottle is $69.95. We do offer, if they buy, right now the packages are up to 4 bottles, they go down to $49 a bottle. If they buy on subscription, it's $51.75.
Okay, so the meaning, so you did about 1.1 last year then?
Of sales? Yeah, we did last 12 months is 841K.
Okay,
There's discounts and stuff.
Okay, that makes sense. I'm glad you told me that. I also wanted to hear from you. I heard that you have snacks as a follow-up product, but I missed in there what other products might exist in the total line. What is on that product roadmap?
Got it. Right now we have a cream that we use that's a topical cream, which we do mainly as an upsell. And then we have a maintenance product that we call it maintenance because it doesn't have the pain relief in there because some diabetics don't have as much pain. The other products on the roadmap are more kind of supplementary that will be rolling out a more kind of a greens product for nutritional. We have an NO2 product because our market is 55 plus.
Yep.
So to have NO2. So it's more supplements that fit the age group that we serve. And then in the roadmap beyond that is the snacks and the diabetic, the kind of the clean eating.
Got it. And how are people finding you right now?
Facebook ads only. And
Facebook
then
ads only.
Yeah.
And they're buying on Shopify, no Amazon or influencer marketing. It's all
no Amazon
all Shopify to your checkout, or all Facebook ads to your Shopify checkout.
Correct. Yeah, we actually just got on Shopify. We were on a custom setup prior to that, but all through our online store and got on Shopify in January.
Okay. I have a ton of feedback, but I want to let the rest of the panel ask their questions first.
All right, since no one's jumping up, I'll go first.
Oh.
So Ryan asked a lot of the questions, but first of all, I love the story. I love, how you presented the story. Me, myself, I was crippled for a year. So talking about your wife's struggles and everything else, it really hits, the how you have, skin in the game in this one. So that was awesome. The big things that I put down was you kind of mentioned your profit margins, your units and your costs, but you never did, how much revenue you did. And, as an investor, you're going to want to know revenue. So that was kind of like, but Ryan already covered like all of my questions. But the big one I want to touch on, and Ryan touched on, but he didn't go very deep on it, is you use Facebook ads for pretty much all customer acquisition. As an investor, in my point of view, knowing like with the marketing background and with all the new iOS updates and advertising costs skyrocketing on Facebook, could you go a little deeper on what other avenues you're going to use to market? Because when you have all your eggs in like Facebook ads basket as a business, and if that goes away and that's your only customer acquisition, that makes me a little bit scared.
100% agree with you, which is why we started a month and a half ago getting onto Amazon, and we're building out all the listings, and those listings will go live as soon as Amazon, has the intake for our products. So those products will get shipped out to Amazon next week, and then it usually takes a couple of weeks. So that's why I've been building out the Amazon channel. And I've actually spoken to a partner, had discussions with him yesterday on taking things to Google to get there, because I 100% agree with you that to be on one platform, have all one eggs in one basket. And that's part of what the money will be used for, is to accelerate those avenues outside of Facebook to a Shopify store.
Awesome. I want to ask a question to piggyback on what Jared just said. What have your sales been like since the iOS update? What's your trailing 3 instead of your trailing 12?
Yeah. And to be 100% transparent, they've come down quite a bit. The trailing 12 was 840. The trailing 3, I have the trailing 6. I was doing about 100,000 a month, and now we're down to about 50 to 60.
Okay.
So we've taken it down on purpose from an ad spend perspective, because the ROAS was way down. So purpose that we've taken down ad spend while we try to determine where to go, rather than just throw money at Facebook and have a terrible return on ad spend. So we've taken that down. So we can, it's the correlation is, the more you throw at it, but without a good return on ad spend, it's not worth throwing it there. So we've diverted some of that over.
A bit of transition on that customer acquisition process right now.
Correct.
Okay. Heard.
Hey, Adam, appreciate the candor. I've got a couple of comments and then a few questions, and I'll try to hit them in priority. First of all, great job. I thought the story was really compelling. I like the surprise at the end that you're her husband, which is well done. You've been well trained. Good job. So I've seen a lot of pitches, and what I would say is if you're doing about 840 grand in 21, and you're expect to do at least be on a $2 million run rate in 22, your valuation may be pretty light. You're raising 100 grand on $1.2 million pre-money. You may be able to increase that enterprise value, and you might consider raising more over time. $100,000 probably isn't going to take you too far. And I didn't notice any hires in that 100 grand. So I'm curious what you're going to do there. And then the other related question is, what is your role in the company? Are you still full-time employed at your current place? Or are you full-time? That sometimes scares investors if they think it's a part-time gig.
Yeah. So the hire, to answer the hire question, we were planning to work with vendors, not hire a full-time employee just yet. So it makes it a little more nimble. The way I've operated is to be more nimble with vendors. To hire someone, maybe give them a profit share, so that way they understand, that there's some skin in the game for them too. For me, I do work full time still in my current position, which is why I've set this up to be I have a lot of infrastructure here. So there's the customer support, there's the teams deal with Facebook. So for me, ultimately, what I deal with on a day-to-day is really just keeping the operations running and understanding the finances and dealing with metrics and things like that. That way, the Amazon team can do their thing, the Facebook and marketing team can do their thing in terms of the vendor relationships. And then I have customer service. And then, so no full-time employees, everything's done through vendors at this point.
I think that works well as long as you're a strong manager and operator and able to manage those relationships, because they can get very expensive and very off kilter quick. But one other really high level question, and then I'll turn it over to other judges. And that is, you haven't mentioned anything about the FDA. I'm assuming you're not, you don't have to be compliant with what they're doing, but talk a little bit about the medical aspect of this and how you're dealing with that.
Yeah, from the FDA perspective, it's more, when supplements, it's more about the manufacturing side. Make sure they have the registrations involved and make sure that they get audited. Our manufacturer is audited at least annually and provides all the registration certificates we need for what's in the supplement. On the marketing side, you just have to be really careful in terms of making claims. And we deal with, we've spoken to attorneys as we've learned, laid out the site in our disclaimers, making sure we're covered there. But in terms of the labels as well, the manufacturer has to go through compliance and make sure the labels are all good on that medical side. And then on the trainings and things like that, we don't give medical advice on the courses we've built out. It's more about, it's not you're telling them how to get better with pain, but in terms of, and then on the customer support side, when anyone ever asks, is this going to work for me? Or can you take this, when they give you this laundry list of medications they're on, they say, can I take it with this? The direct answer is always go see your doctor. We're not doctors. So we never tell anyone, yes, you can take it with such and such, or yes, you can do it. We always err on the side of caution of sending people to their doctors.
Thank you.
Adam, I want to echo something that Kurt just shared, which is I think that if we change a couple things about the structure of your pitch, I agree with Kurt that your valuation may be low. The way you presented it, though, you presented more of like, here's where we are. And based on that, I think your valuation's fair. So what needs to be tweaked in your approach is putting more emphasis on the growth potential based on the hard work that you've done into this point. So there were a couple of things that stood out to me in your pitch from an investor standpoint. 15,000 customers. You've got reviews and feedback and people who come back and voluntarily tell you that your product is having impact in their lives. That's awesome. The fact that you're acquiring customers from cold traffic as your primary way of getting sales, that stands out to me. So I'm looking at that foundation that's being built, but the value is going to be what we stack on top of that. And you didn't put as much emphasis on that as you did on the foundation that was built. So if you were to go to market right now to sell your company, I think the valuation that you're looking at is fair. But when we're looking at a future pacing perspective, more of that vision piece, that's where I agree with Kurt that your valuation is a little bit light. Now, there's one thing that I think was missing in your pitch that I wanted to see that made this an absolute slam dunk. If I were to grade this pitch, I give you a 9 out of 10. I would say this is a top 5 opportunity that I would see that has come out of the incubator at this point, because I can see the vision of where you're going and how big this market size is. And you did an awesome job framing how big the market was. Side note, whenever it's like it's a known thing in the investor world, I'm surprised based on your background that this was outside of your awareness. The 1%, if we only get 1% of the big market, that's a big pitch faux pas. A lot of investors just go, oh, please, because you got to get the 1%, Adam. Show me how you're going to get the 1%. So I would just remove that from your pitch. But here's the thing that was missing. The thing that was missing, you sort of danced around it, was the audience piece. So who's the influencer? What is the piece that is going to build the audience? You touched on it and sort of danced around it by saying, we're writing a book, which is an amazing way to build an audience. It's an amazing way to get new customers. I'm obviously a big fan of that model. That's a big deal. So you sort of touched on it there, and you said you're going to engage them with a lot of content, but I didn't hear from you a plan that I was like, yeah, they've really thought through this. And that is going to be how they build this audience and that customer base. Even if it had been as simple as, my wife is starting a podcast, it launches on this date, and we're flowing all of our follow-up sequences to that to be the leader in that space. That would have at least checked the box for me. But I wanted to see a little bit of a more crystallized plan of how that audience was going to be built and engaged, because you have such a foundational piece. And I'm looking for how you can engage those raving fans in a way that they can refer other people to the brand. I thought you did a phenomenal job. I have very little that I would poke holes in. I think you have a very clear, easy way to that $2 million run rate and then beyond, but I would change those things in your pitch.
Thank you. Great feedback. I appreciate it.
Well done.
I want to piggyback just real quickly on one last thing. So Adam, the notes I had listed down here, which most people have covered already, was just the audience size, how it was acquired and where it's housed. And then specifically, the only other piece I wanted to get was the reorder rate you have right now. Because like as an investor in my mind, I always look for like, what is the efficacy? Anything in a pain management supplement space, I want to know like, what is the actual efficacy? And so what I loved is you did a really good job of going from the emotional to the facts, to the emotional to the facts. That was a really good, really well woven throughout the story. That kind of the closer for me would have been, I get to see 15 Facebook posts here that you showed of people saying this works. And then you also say, in addition to that, I have a 25% reorder rate, a 30% reorder rate, just to kind of show me and demonstrate to me numerically that there's an efficacy to the product.
Perfect. And to that question, Sam, I do have a 30%, just to tick over 30% reorder rate.
I was assuming as much, but I was curious. So I appreciate that. Thank you, man.
Hey, I want to make sure that Stan and Jared get a chance, because I want to say one thing right quick. If you guys have anything else to add. Okay. Well, so I love what Ryan just said. You sold a dream, you sold a vision, you sold why you're doing it. And then at the end, if you really come back and think about what you said at the end, we're just going to sell on Facebook. And that didn't sound nearly as compelling as you're solving a world problem and all these people in pain. And so what I would love to see is that sense of community, somebody that you're building to focus on with this money or the next round. Frankly, I'd love to see dedication from you and or your wife, full-time, not a part-time gig. I think this has a real legs, and I think it's a real opportunity. And then I'd like to see vision. I'd like to have you talk about that dream, talk about what you're building. And I'm in for 25 grand, and I'm not a strategic investor necessarily, but I think there's a lot of things that you can do to make this a special brand, and you've got a good foundation.
Great. Thank you very much, Greg.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Can I speak into this really quick? Can I say one?
Sorry, I can't speak for my partner, but I think there's a chance that the Capitalism Fund may match Kurt's pledge.
Let's go.
Right.
You can speak for him.
Stan, real quick. I do want to say, Adam, I remember when you joined Cap Inc. and just where you were at an emotional state and the pressure that was there. And just to see the full transformation right now and the work you've done in the incubator, and Stan, way to freaking go. Amazing. I want you to highlight when you share this, that you've been doing this with a full-time job and how this is going to allow you to leave that to focus on it, to grow it even more, because you are an integral part of this thing doing what it's doing. And so I think just being able to show that you'll be putting more focus as they raise would be really cool. So I will stop talking, but great work.
Great.
I'm freaking impressed. Really good work.
Thank you. And for a plug to you, Ryan, this is the best group or training program I've ever been in. And Stan knows I almost didn't join because I've been in others that just didn't work so well.
Well, what pushed you over the edge? Who twisted your arm?
I think it was what you offered in here. True business owners doing their thing, investors. It's not just people who throw money and think they're going to be rich. It's people that were doing the work, getting taught the right way, and learning the process. It's been great.
I appreciate that. Very good work, Adam.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for being here today. I'm Leah Boomsma, and welcome to Flipping Holder Kids, where parenting convenience is made easy. I wanted to start a little bit about who am I? I'm a mom of 4, and like most parents, I am often known as a child wrangler. But also like most parents, I am so much more. I'm a wife, a caretaker, a cleaner-upper, a fixer, a planner, a friend. I also happen to be a lawyer and a business owner. Just a typical parent. And like most parents, wearing all of these responsibilities means that we are overwhelmed. Parenting is simply hard. And it's usually those millions of small things that arise during the day that accumulate into that extreme overwhelm. Here's a quick story about one of those problems. Back in 2013, when my oldest was just 1 year old, we planned to fly to visit my sister in Oklahoma. Like most parents, there was so much to consider in planning that trip. We had the strollers, the car seats, the carry-on bags, the clothing, and of course, meals. How was I going to feed my 1 year old on this flight? So I did my research and I checked out all the stores and discovered baby food pouches in pureed, baby food in pureed squeezable pouches. And I thought, this is perfect. This is what I'm going to use. This is going to solve my problem. So I packed them in my bag and brought them along. We got on the flight, and about an hour into the flight, my son was hungry. I opened up one of those pouches and I tried to navigate that spout toward his mouth. But like most 1-year-olds, he wanted to do it himself. So he grabbed at that pouch and he squeezed it, and it got all over him, all over me, and all over a very understanding and nice lady sitting next to us. I mean, in that moment, it was truly a mess. I wasn't just overwhelmed. I was frustrated and exhausted, and I was covered in really messy baby food. But also in that moment, it wasn't just me. It's all parents of little ones. It's that working mom who just picked up her toddler from daycare and hands that child a pouch just to get home during rush hour traffic before they get home for dinner, just to appease the child on that trip. Or it's that at-home parent who's wrangling too many children and is trying to feed themselves and doesn't have time to sit and spoon feed a baby for 20 minutes. Or it's the dad with a hungry toddler in tow who just needs a quick, convenient snack for his child while running from activity to activity. They all end up with this overwhelming mess, just like me. In that chaotic moment on the plane ride with my son, I realized I wasn't alone. Many other parents had this same exact struggle, this one small problem. How was I going to feed my kid in this small moment of need? That created huge overwhelm, and I knew I could help. So I created the 2-in-1 flipping holder. This is a holder that locks in these squeezable baby food pouches and prevents them from making squeezy messes. The same holder flips over so that you can use it with juice boxes and juice pouches to prevent those squeezy messes as well. With this holder, the children can independently snack and avoid all of the mess. Now, at first glance, this food pouch and juice box holder probably looks like a simple piece of plastic, albeit a creatively designed piece of plastic that's sufficiently novel to be patented, but simple nonetheless. But to that overwhelmed parent like me on that plane ride, this is so much more. It's a relief of having one little struggle gone out of my day. It's an escape that allows a child to eat on his or her own while mom and dad can eat their food or snack as well. It's the right tool at the right time, and it's right there at mom and dad's fingertips. And for the parent who's already shouldering the burden of a million little problems throughout the day, this little piece of plastic is one less problem, one less worry, one less concern. They can go about their day confidently knowing they have what they need to feed their child when that moment arises. But you don't have to take just my word for it. The flipping holder has over 4,000 5-star reviews. As one twin mom said, she could never feed her babies fast enough. This holder works, it's easy, and it saves her time. Another Amazon customer said it changed her life because she can finally eat her own food while her child eats. One dad called it a life-changing, time-saving product and insisted that every parent needs to. And it lasts for years. One mom updated 2 years after she had purchased this product to say that she would still be lost without it and cannot believe how much she relies on her flipping holder every day. This turns feeding time from something that a parent might dread into just another quick task in their day. And for special needs parents, it can be even more. On whole, our customers repeatedly tell us that the flipping holder is a time saver, it's a lifesaver, it's a game changer. It works and it's easy to use. This is just a solution. This is one solution to just one small problem. And it's truly those small problems that accumulate into major overwhelm. And the kicker is that solving even just one problem for parents can have a huge impact. Even one solution can become a literal $1 million idea. We launched the flipping holder in 2017. At that time, I had 2 kids. I was expecting my third. My fourth arrived in 2019. And during those 3 years, from 2017 to 2019, I was working full time, and I was also bringing the flipping holder to market. So it was more of a hobby at that point. I was focused, and I really enjoyed the process. I figured out how to get the holder manufactured domestically. We still manufacture here in the US, right here in Minnesota. I refined the design several times. I applied for utility and design patents. I learned online sales and e-commerce, including becoming well-versed in Amazon and social media advertising. After my fourth child arrived in 2019, my utility and design patents issued, but then my manufacturer shut down. So I needed to make a choice in 2019 about how to proceed. Was this going to be a hobby, or was I going all in? I decided to go all in. I located a new manufacturer. I engaged a social media manager, and we began building an online presence where we actively engage with our customers. The results truly speak for themselves. When parents hear about the flipping holder, they not only want it for themselves, they share it for their friends and family. In September of 2020, a single customer post on Facebook was shared 26,000 times. We sold through our inventory in 4 days. Our manufacturer was quickly able to restock, and we were able to maintain that heightened sales volume for many months to follow. And then it happened again. In April of 2021, a mom who purchased our holders on Amazon shared a video on TikTok that received more than 16 million views, 800,000 likes, and resulted in sales of $200,000 in less than 6 weeks. Since then, for the 12-month period from February 1st of 2021 through January 31st of 2022, flipping holder sales have exceeded $1 million. And that is only one product. We can do more. Through more engagement, we can develop and provide more convenient solutions, and ultimately that means more problem solved for our customers. So here's how we get there. For our path to 8 figures, we are expanding our flipping holder brand into one that's poised to help parents escape everyday overwhelm in multiple ways. So we'll do this first by increasing our market reach. We have solutions that work. When parents see them, they want them and they buy them. So we need to get our product in front of more parents. We'll benefit from expanding our online audience channels as well as our sales channels. In addition, we want to create additional products to enhance our customers' experience. More products solve more problems, and it creates the classic win-win-win, benefiting the parents, the children, and us. So first, here's how we're restructuring our online presence to engage more people. We currently connect with our audience in 3 platforms: Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest. Our next step is drawing this audience onto our website and into our email list so we can engage with them directly. We're doing that through an online resource portal that we've launched that's exclusive to our email subscribers. By directing our customers from these other platforms to our website and to this portal, we are finally able to have a captive audience that we can reach through direct communication. Second, we are growing our cold audience and continuing to do this through social media advertising and Amazon advertising. We've been provided dedicated ad experts for Facebook and Pinterest to optimize our ads in the next 30 days. After that time, we'll engage experts in that same area to continue scaling. Third, we'll continue to grow our audience through our parenting groups and influencer connections. By growing these relationships and reaching more influencers, we'll be able to reach more parents with our products. And finally, our next major platform is TikTok. We've seen tremendous sales growth through that platform, and we are hiring our own TikTok social media manager. And we're in the process of engaging our best influencers to create the content that we intend to share on that platform. In addition to expanding our online reach, we also are extending our sales channels. Our current sales are primarily focused on Amazon.com, with additional sales on Walmart.com, our website, and Etsy. We are in the process of expanding internationally. First, we're reaching Canada. We launched on Amazon Canada 30 days ago with a few $1,000s worth of test inventory, and we have sold out. We are fully restocking Amazon Canada in the next 2 weeks. We are also expanding to the UK and the European Union. For 6 months, Amazon repeatedly reached out asking us to expand to those marketplaces, and in December, we finally made the decision to move forward there. Amazon's provided us a concierge service to do the European setup, and we're less than 60 days from launching in both of those marketplaces. Finally, we do have wholesale accounts with boutiques and subscription boxes. We are adding accounts each week, and we want to dedicate time to adding more wholesale accounts. For the first 3 quarters of 2022, this is our focus. We're going to optimize our current sales channels. We're expanding to Amazon International, and we're building out our wholesale platform. Once we solidify our customer reach through those channels, then we'll turn our attention to larger retail opportunities. But to hit an 8-figure sales run, we not only need to reach more parents, we also need to provide more products that meet their needs. Our product map starts with our flagship flipping holder. We sell these as a 2-pack or as 1-packs, and in the 5 colors shown here. In 2 months, we'll be launching our customer demanded bottom cover. This is an accessory we created that stops the child from reaching in the bottom of the holder, but also locks the juice containers in when used with the juice boxes and juice pouches. After that, our next product is our customer requested reusable food pouches. Not only do our existing customers want these, there are a number of moms out there who just do not trust store-bought baby food. They make their own baby food at home. These pouches will expand our market to include those parents as well. So we will launch these in 90 days, and they're custom designed to fit perfectly in our flipping holder and give our customers the freedom to choose what food they want to feed their children. By the fall of 2022, all of these items packaged together will become our retail ready deluxe flipping holder set. This is an all-in-one feeding solution for kids at home and on the go. But as most parents know, what comes in must come out. And we have a solution for that too. In late 2022, we will launch our creative on-the-go potty and toileting solutions that I've been designing and refining. In surveying our large database of parents and our customer moms, they've confirmed that the current solution for these on-the-go potty emergencies is to run the kid behind a bush or over to a tree, or if you're in the car, maybe give them a cup or an ice cream bucket and let her rip. That is kind of messy and not a lot of fun. We have better, more convenient options that will avoid the mess, and we cannot wait to get these to our parents. So that brings up the next question of why these products and why now? Simply put, families are on the move. With 3.5 million new babies each year, there's 27 million families in the US that have children under the age of 6. Of those, 88% intend to travel with their children this year alone. Whether it's across the street or across the border, parents need convenience products to aid in those travels. Now is the perfect time to get that to these parents. But also, the baby market is a huge market. Globally, it's over $70 billion. The feeding aspect of that is 1 million, and the toddler toileting area is 1 billion, and the toddler toileting area is 1.3 billion. Parent-started brands that create solutions in this space are rewarded. One example is Munchkin. Munchkin was started 30 years ago by a dad who felt that there was a lack of creativity in the kid product space. He's grown that brand to $300 million in value with a $70 million a year run rate. But another brand that's a little bit more akin to the path that Flipping Holder is on is Easy Peasy. This is a mom-created brand founded on a single product with solving a single problem. She created a suction placemat that prevents littles from tossing their bowls and plates off a high chair. After hitting $1 million in sales in 2016, Easy Peasy's on track to sell more than $30 million in 2022. They did this through creative problem solving and a loyal audience, despite only selling their single flagship suction placemat along with a few accessories. We're going to follow a similar course. But unlike Easy Peasy, our brand is going to go outside of the feeding accessory market and expand into the toddler toileting space as well. This merging of two cross sections of the baby industry not only allows the Flipping Holder to solve more small problems that create parent overwhelm, but also will allow us to grow exponentially within the industry. We're not just a one product wonder. We are providing convenient solutions to parents in all aspects of the baby space. So here's the team that will move us forward. First, there's me. I'm a mom of 4. I invented the Flipping Holder. I'm a law firm partner with 13 years of business litigation experience. And I led the way to building this business to our 7-figure year that we just concluded. I've learned each and every step of the process building this business, and I've done it excitedly and with passion. I'm always a student, and I'm also a daughter of a mechanical engineer, so I'm eager to master new things like designing a product or selling on Amazon. And I have a passion for creative problem solving. Over the past 18 months, though, I haven't done it alone. I've relied on contractors who have key roles in our business. For example, KJ & Co. is our social media manager. This is a mom-owned business that has worked with us since 2019 and was a critical part to our customer-driven scaling that's happened in the past 18 months and will be a critical part of our business going forward. Likewise, we've engaged a graphic designer who also does product design with decades of experience in the kids publishing space, and we're well positioned to revamp our branding, our packaging, and our offerings. We use the Profitable Pineapple for our Amazon keywords and ads. They're experts in scaling the 6- and 7-figure businesses through Amazon pay-per-click. One of our most significant relationships is our manufacturer. We manufacture our products here in the United States and domestically right in Minnesota. Our manufacturer has decades of experience, and I've worked closely with them for the last 3 years to refine our product, manage our inventory, and work towards scaling. They have high production capacity, but they also have very valuable warehousing capabilities that allows additional product to be available right at my fingertips on less than 24 hours notice. As a member of the Capitalism incubator, we also have the support of Ryan Daniel Moran and the Capitalism.com team. These are coaches and advisors uniquely positioned to guide 7-figure businesses like mine into an 8-figure exit. Finally, and most importantly, our customers and influencers. Organic sharing by our customers and unpaid influencers alike has created millions of shares, views, and likes to get our products out to the parents who need them. As I mentioned before, these customers, they're truly our best sales team. They are one of the most significant parts of our path going forward. But that leaves the question of what's missing. There are several roles that I have shouldered for the past few years that need to transition to a new and dedicated person. We will hire an audience and influencer manager. We also want to hire or partner with a retail placement specialist. And we will partner with experts in the child product industry. And that's where you can help. We have several ways in which you can help us solve parenting struggles faster. We are seeking $250,000 in exchange for 5% of our business, with that money being used to engage the right team in the right roles, the roles I just described, as well as hiring a social media ads expert. We are also offering small equity shares for the right strategic advisors in the areas of the child product industry, domestic manufacturing, and retail placement. Finally, we know there are many other parents just like me who have great ideas to solve problems of their everyday issues. And we want to help those parents bring that product to market. So we want to partner with other product creators to get these solutions to our customer parents faster and solve more problems more quickly. If you want to come along with me and creatively solve parenting problems together, contact me at the information on this slide. And otherwise, I'm open to answering your questions at this time.
Leah, that's awesome. I wanted to make sure I went first because I want to make sure I got in before you were totally subscribed on your round. No, truly great stuff. You're obviously a very sharp lady, and everybody calls you Wonder Woman. I'm sure you're probably tired of hearing that because I know my wife and other moms are tired of hearing that. But well done. I said mentally to myself as you're going through your deck, if it was less than $4 million, I was absolutely in for everything that you had. Your round is $5 million. Actually, that might be post money. So let's talk. I'm very interested in participating. But a couple of questions for you. Same question I've asked the other folks. How dedicated are you? It sounds like you're still a partner in your law firm. What does it look like? You mentioned some junior members of the team, but I didn't hear any. What I'd like for you to eventually have over the next couple of years as you grow as a partner, somebody who can operate full-time and be a strong operator in the space.
Yeah, so I'll answer the first question of that, which is, where am I at? So I was working full-time as an attorney until September of 2021. So about little less than 6 months ago, I stepped back and I've been doing this full-time since. So that's where I'm at there. So the other part of it is I do agree that getting some additional, whether it's partners or employees on board to manage some of those, the execution side and on some of these tasks would be great.
Great. And I got to ask, are you at a ferry? What is that in the background there?
Oh, that is a skyscraper here in Minneapolis.
Oh, okay.
I'm somewhere on, some 40th floor of some building. So
And I just bought one on Amazon as you were talking, by the way. So I can't wait to share it with my nephew, my 2-year-old nephew.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right, I'm going to jump in because we ran out of time last time and I want to get a couple of key points before everyone covers every point that I've already thought of. So there's really only two things. The first one is in your slide, you show a giant scale and growth, and it correlates exactly with the one influencer post going viral. So that would be a little bit of a concern with, most of your sales coming from one post. You did talk a lot about how you're going to, move sales channels around. You're going into Amazon in different countries, everything, which is awesome. Just as like an investor, that would be one thing that I'd be like, okay, all of your sales came from like one big post. And how are you going to replicate that with future influencers? And the only other second thing I had was, we're big on branding here. Your name, the company is Flipping Holder, and you're going into toilet products. So how are you going to manage, like, are your toilet products going to be branded Flipping Holder? That's the only thing. Those are the only two things that, I had a question about.
Can I answer both of those? Because I think those are excellent questions.
Yes, please.
So the influencer post was a huge spike. And I think as many people experience when you have a viral spike, it was $200,000 in about a 6-week window. And then our resting sales prior to that spike was about $1,000 a day. And we came out of that spike at $2,000 a day. And now we're back to $3,000. So the way we dealt with that is, we took advantage of the fact that we got this giant spike, you get a lot of sales. But then after that, we were able to kind of restructure our advertising. One of the things that tells you when you get a viral spike is what customers care about. So that video was not one of the big elaborate ones I had created, right? It was literally a mom who nobody's in the picture, and she just, shows the product flipping over and it goes viral. So we changed our advertising to align with the message that she was conveying, because it resonated better. So we've been seeing the benefits of that increasing month over month since then. And then I apologize. The branding. We do have, and I am in the process of working an entirely new kids brand name. So the flipping holder will be brought under that brand. It hasn't been finalized yet, so I didn't want to, throw out a brand here and then have it not be the right one. I want to make sure we're appropriate with trademarks and other protections before I can confirm that it's a usable name before we launch that branding. But there will be a different branding.
Your presentation was like amazing. So those were the only two questions I really had with it, and that you recognized how you can market better because of those viral posts makes you understand that, okay, this is what I do. It worked once, do it again. And a lot of people don't realize that. So that's awesome.
Thank you.
Well, I know we're running low on time, but I want to make sure other people have a chance. But I'm in for something, and so please don't let this pass without me. And then I like the fact that Amazon reached out to you. That says a lot. I know they don't reach out to many people. So,
yeah.
Ryan,
Go ahead.
Please ask Leah.
So Leah, first of all, you and I had a conversation maybe 2 weeks ago where I told you that I was considering going a direction in my career where I really like the idea of advocating for an entrepreneur that comes from the incubator and then taking them to my audience and helping them raise the capital publicly. Mm-hmm. I want you to know that your presentation just confirmed that I absolutely do that. So I reached out to 3 people that were like dream people for me to work with. You were one of those 3. And I knew this much about your business. Now that I've seen this, I'm like, oh yeah, I would love to be up on stage or on a podcast bragging about Leah and helping her raise capital. So thank you for that, first of all. So there were 2 parts of your presentation that were, I was glad I was on mute because I said something like, oh yeah, bring me that, babe. Like I audibly made us sound as an investor. And they were this. One was seeing the spike that happened when an influencer picked you up, because that is not repeatable with the same influencer all the time, but it means that people want this as soon as they know about it. And seeing the video demonstration edified that, because I love that you used a video to demonstrate the product. So those 2 things from a sales perspective were let me know that there's a lot of meat left on that bone. But the second time that I had that reaction was when you showed the product vision, when you showed that you were going to do travel potty solutions. That was when I was like, oh, like she got it. Like she sees how big this can get. I would recommend that you strip out everything between those, because there was a lot of you spent a long time talking about the growth plan when I'm sitting here being like, Leah, just release more products. Leah, just release more products. Like first we're going to build our email list, and then we're going to figure out Amazon. Now and I'm like, you had $200,000 in 3 days or 4 days. Just release more products. Just like we don't have to build up this big system for it. People want this stuff. Just release more, right? I wanted that momentum to continue rather than show the plan of how we're going to build. It was like that. We'll figure that out. We will figure that out. Let's reach for products like now. So I would have, at least from a pitch perspective, I would reduce that amount of time that you spend there. And also you spent more time talking about the accessories on the flipping holder than on the travel potty solutions. And I was like bored, blown away. So if you had, I almost don't even need to know about those accessories. So if you had kind of smushed the presentation into the viral spike, we're going to release more products. I would have just been like, what? Just take my money. So my biggest question or feedback is actually the opposite of Kurt's, which makes this really interesting. You just crossed 1 million for the first time. It just happened. I bragged about you to 9 different people. But how did you arrive at a $5 million valuation with the margins and the total revenue that you have at this point?
Okay, so kind of 2 thoughts on that. One of them is that, so I'll talk a little bit about the margins first, because that's, I think, helpful to hear. So our product sells as a 2-pack for $14.99 or 1 for $9.99. And our sourcing cost on the 2-pack is $1.74, and on 1 is 74 cents. And so we have that, but the Amazon fees are what kind of kills us there. The Amazon fees on this product are $7. Our profit margin on our website is 60%. On Amazon, it's 35%. Last year, though, out of that million, 500,000 we hit for our, so once you take out advertising and other costs, that's what we had left. So it's about a 50% thing. The other part of it, though, is the evaluation's in part based on the fact that we have a full utility patent, a full design patent, and we have 3 pending additional patents. And so that intellectual property is there, it is locked down. So that's not in process, that's not patent pending, those are issued.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense. I'd say that in your presentation. And I would have, did you say that you had an EBITDA of 500,000? Is that right?
On last year's, yeah.
I would have never in a bazillion years guessed that on $1 million top line on this product, you have a $500,000 EBITDA. I would have guessed like 80,000.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize that. I'm
blown away because
a bit of a frugal entrepreneur.
Well, good. And you should use that in your pitch deck, because what you're saying is you're actually just raising money on a 10 times earnings.
Yeah.
Which is not unheard of. It's still like, I'm still a little bit like, but now you have a very strong justification for it. I would not in a bazillion years would I have guessed that you were profiting $500,000 on that.
Yeah. I would encourage you to use some of that money to invest in a team that can get you to 10 or even 20 or 30 million, Leah. I don't think this is a $10 million business. I think this is much larger than that.
Thank you.
And please contact me. I'm in for at least 25 and I'll see what the capitalism.com folks do.
Will do. Absolutely.
I ask one question quick. Leah, have you tested price?
Yes, in part. We went up. We originally were at $18.99 for 1 or for 2 and $12.99 for 1. And we found that when we dropped it just those few dollars, sales increased significantly. That was prior to the viral spikes, but just back when we had first launched, we kind of did some testing. But with the addition of the bottom cover, we're actually going to be adjusting the prices again, because now it's solves one of the single only complaint we really get on Amazon, which is that it needs a cover. So I think we can ratchet the price point back up then.
Yeah, just my hunch is you could bring that price point up probably 20%, 30% and not affect sales very much, especially since you have the patent and you have the only solution on Amazon for it. And that would instantly drive your revenue past $1 million a year and your profit, pure profit, basically, except for the cut of Amazon.
Cool. So I have a couple of feedback points here as well. So first off, Leah, I thoroughly enjoyed your pitch the entire time. Like I would watch that over anything else. I had a couple of questions that popped into mind. And I was going to kind of piggyback on something Ryan said that I thought was kind of funny. So one of my questions I wrote down at the beginning was, are you sure you're not an engineer as well? Because you listed a lot of things. Like, is that somewhere in the background? Like you did that as a side gig on the side, or?
As an engineer, is that what you asked?
As an engineer, yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. So when I was a kid, my dad enrolled me in CAD classes. So I did do some of that, but also as a litigator, I tend to work a lot with expert engineers, which is because it's my favorite area, honestly.
Awesome. That makes a lot of sense. I can tell that from the way your brain works, from the way you designed your business, but also from the way you designed your pitch, which I absolutely personally love. That's the way my brain works. That is what it is. Secondly, can I show your pitch to my niece as kind of like a model example of what like life should look like? Is that cool? Because it's
absolutely,
because there's a whole idea. It's wonderful to be that you can have that whole mother and all the piece there as well, but then just have such a professional and well done business and approach here is just awesome. Like I love the marriage you have of that. That's amazing. So very, very cool. Kudos on that. That's encouraging and really exciting. So I had a couple other things there that were in, and these were actually just side notes. One, you mentioned visiting Oklahoma. So that's the first time anybody has ever represented my home state in a pitch. So that is a first for me. So I'm pretty excited and pumped about that. As far as past that, the things that we look for with any kind of brand we invest in as an entrepreneur, a brand, and a product. And I thought you demonstrated all of those things so very, very well. So I was very, very impressed with it, liked it a lot. And again, now I'm going to flip flop the script on Ryan and say, with, out speaking for my partner, I know this is one of the visions we've always had, is being able to solidify your raise by, being, first in on opportunities. And it's something that I would say is your business has all the right tools for being a much larger vision than even an 8-figure. I think we can take it a big direction. So congratulations. Very, very well done. Really proud of you.
Thank you.
How you feeling, Leah?
Pretty damn excited.
Good. You
Probably
should.
doesn't show. I can't really jump around an office, but
Leah, you should know that Kurt has already private messaged me and demanded contact information for yourself and for Adam. So look, I can't say anything more to this group than look at these amazing people who presented today, who put out their business, and who have really transformed over the last few weeks as they've prepared these pitch decks. Thank you, Adam. Thank you, Marky, and thank you, Leah. And for everyone who's watching, please understand, do you see what just happened? Literally private messages like, put me in contact. And it's the first time I've ever heard Sam Prentice, when talking about giving money, as Ryan was talking a minute ago about taking Leah to the masses of the capitalism.com communities and like doing a raise for her, Sam Prentice said, "Oh yeah," under his breath. And I've never heard that before. So that's a big deal. So congratulations, guys. This is what the incubator's for. This is what we do.
And we need to give one really big thank you to Stan the Man Way, who has been tirelessly mentoring all of you and getting the three of you ready for today. And the efforts and the hours that he put into this just changed multiple people's lives. So Stan, we appreciate you, my friend. Thank you for showing us the way.
Thank you, Ryan. I'll share this. There is a pitch that was not selected for this pitch week. I haven't even told Ryan this. He's going to love this. It was so good. It was like, oh man, what do we do? And it's amazing to know within our incubator community, we have these people. And I was able to share that pitch with 3 personal friends. 3 of them who might have a vested interest in this personal business. And one of them literally texted me this morning. He couldn't watch it a couple days ago. And he said, I need to talk to this guy, I think. Let me talk to my partner. And I, oh man, I'm not going to cry. I'm not going to cry, but I will tell you, like, this is the beauty of the owner's model here, guys. You cast your vision, you build the relationships, and then you just make sure you don't run out of money, which Ryan has taught us all beautifully. But nowhere else do I know a place where there are relationships like we have at capitalism.com to be able to not just serve you guys, but serve your people as well. And that's what capitalism is about, is getting to exponentially be the change. So Ryan, I would love to hear your parting words, and then we'll wrap up.
Honestly, I was going to say, Bonner family, y'all better be next. You better get up on this stage real quick. Because after streaming this, there's going to be a bunch of people shooting to get into the next pitch week. Bonner family, you better get on with the get on. Guys, we're so proud of you. We are so excited about where this group is going. So proud to feature you in front of the audience. And it's really exciting to know that this is just the beginning. This is just the beginning. I also love that this was Ruth's first call inside of the incubator. I'd love to see her feedback of what's going on here. Congratulations, team. We'll see you soon. Very, very well done. Thank you, everybody. Have a great day.